Hi everyone, my name is Shamsher. I lead a product strategy at NeevCloud. I work as a group product manager, and we are going to talk about evolution of AI builder. Here with us we have Malthi. She's been doing a lot of work around the products, and she's been teaching it to a lot of folks in the market, and mostly the product managers. So I think Malthi, you can introduce yourself, and then we can take it forward.
All right. Thank you, first of all, Shamsher, to invite me on this episode, and really excited of what we're going to talk about today. A little bit about myself. My name is Malthi, and I've been in the industry for about 26 years.
Right.
All of it, building tech products across different verticals. So last 4 years, after, spending about 22 years at
Right.
SAP, PayPal, Intuit.
That's good.
I decided to start my own product consulting firm. And in the last 4 years, I've been very fortunate to have worked with 20 plus startups as a fractional product advisor.
Nice.
And hundreds of startups, especially deep tech club startups whom I have mentored. And as you said, I am also into teaching, so I do corporate trainings. I am a professor of practice at multiple B schools.
That's good.
And a fellow podcaster too.
Awesome. So we did podcast, I think, a couple of months ago.
Right.
It's mostly on tokens, AI, LLMs, and ROI of LLMs. And I think right now, today, we are going to talk about one of the most important topics, which is also available in the market. Everyone is using it, right? But what we want to talk about today is how agents can help developers or anyone who is working with agents, how they can do a collaboration together and how they can speed up the things. So right now, what is the problem is people give a prompt to LLMs and these agents, and they expect that the output will be 100% accurate. But it's mostly only the 60% of the part that agent is doing. So what I want to understand is how agents and humans can collaborate together to get the right output and get the right outcome that they are expecting.
Right. So, see, pretty much, as you said, any kind of function, including products, working with agents is a reality today.
Right.
While I would say that a lot of our grunt work, has been taken by the agents.
Right.
So, the time that gets freed up, especially when you are building products, right? I think there are still those fundamentals of building products, which is about building your customer empathy.
Right.
Really understanding your problem very well,
Right.
along with your target segment. That plus thinking through, that what would really offer value to my customers, right? That compassion. Going into the details to see that have I broken down the problem really well? Am I able to build the product better than my competitors?
Right.
So that it really offers value to my customers. It could be saving time, it could be improving accuracy.
Yeah.
I think those parts product managers cannot delegate it.
That's true. I think understanding the problem is the main thing. If you understand the problem well, you'll be able to build the solution in the right way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, today, so the most important thing that I want to, and this is something I say in my class also, Shamsher, is that you can delegate tasks and activities to the agent.
Right.
Please do not delegate your core thinking to the agent.
That's true.
Right? So when you are thinking, when you go and immerse yourself with your customers in their problem space,
Right.
the kind of product sense, the kind of empathy that you build, you need to nurture that. You need to leverage that to write down your PR.
That's true.
Right? So don't start with your agent asking, okay, can you give me a PRT for writing? That should not be the
That's
case.
completely wrong.
That's completely wrong. Write the draft. Take that pain to translate whatever you have embraced from your customers into that document, and definitely use your agent as a brainstorming partner, as a companion, to see that how you can improvise it. Could there be aspects that you have not completely fleshed out on the use cases, right? So the most important thing I would say is that definitely you need to use agent, because if you're not doing that, you are not building efficiently.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
But do not delegate the core aspects of product management to the agents.
That's true. I think I like the word when you say do not delegate the thinking to these agents, because I think agents are really good in generating the things.
Correct.
But they definitely need inputs from human.
Correct.
So if the input is wrong, I think there's a good saying which is called garbage in, garbage out. So if you give the garbage, you will get the garbage out.
Exactly.
Right?
Correct.
So I think in the product managers or engineers or AI builders, whoever is using AI, they really need to think about what is the problem that I want to solve.
Exactly.
And what is the input that I have to give it to the LLM. Then only you will get. And I think I also like the word when we say that don't ask them to generate the PRD. when I was conducting a lot of interviews for our product managers, we were hiring for our lot of positions. Then I saw that people are just giving a one-line sentence and asking them to generate everything, and the output was completely garbage. So how do you make sure that agents understand what you want to say? How do you prompt rightly, accurately, that they understand your thinking, and how do you iterate on it, and how do you build something which will solve the customer problem?
Right. See, we have to all understand that today AI is like an insight.
No.
It gives you the output based on what it knows.
That's true.
What it doesn't know, it doesn't know.
Doesn't know.
Right? So, and to me, if you ask me, prompt is nothing but just a medium, it's just a language. So the more specific I will be in terms of, what I want to expect, what is the persona with which I'm treating it. If I can give it all the inputs, especially, for example, one of the very common use cases where product managers use AI is to generate insights,
Right.
to synthesize on so much of customer VOCs and feedbacks that they have. So you need to make sure that your VOCs feedback which you have gotten is cleaned up.
That's very important.
Yeah, it needs to make sense out of that, right? If you're going to just generate, let's say if there are bots which have generated those comments or feedbacks, it will be completely biased, right? It will be messed up. So I think the most important thing that whether you are a product manager or you're building something is that you need to follow some kind of a framework. So first of all, you need to assign it to a kind of a role. What is the kind of, so for example, if I just take my personal example, right? I create a lot of content for my classes and all that.
Right.
I use my AI companion as a critic. Okay, where I say that, this is how I'm kind of thinking, this is my class, this is the kind of students that I'm going to have, this is the kind of maturity level they will have on the technology or on the product side. This is the kind of outline that I'm thinking. You tell me, does it make sense?
That's true.
How will you make this class better? So one very important hack which I have seen is that use your AI partner as your critic.
You just
Something that will constantly challenge
you, right?
Right? But if you, for example, look at ChatGPT is always trying to make you happy.
Yeah. It will never say wrong things to you. It will say everything is true, everything is good.
Exactly.
So what I did, I think I also tried something when I was trying to build like multi-agent things. I asked it to build something. It built it. And then I asked just a question, are you sure this is correct? And then he said, I apologize, this is not correct. Let me correct this. And then I keep asking, are you sure this is correct? Then it keeps correcting itself.
Exactly.
Which means the output that you're getting from agents is not guaranteed that it will be inaccurate.
Correct.
Right?
Absolutely.
So you'll have to make sure as a human and AI agents, you'll have to collaborate with each other.
Correct.
Make sure that you also verify the correctness.
Exactly.
You also check whether the data that you are receiving. So I think one of the good tools that I also use during my customer research, competitive analysis is Perplexity, right? It gives you your sources.
Exactly.
Right. So these sources will help me make sure that this is the correct thing that I am going to give it to my developer.
Exactly.
Because developers are builders, right? They are going to build something on top of what product managers give them.
Exactly.
Right? Because ultimately our goal is the customer should be able to use it properly. Right? So how can we make sure that this problem discovery that we are doing generally, because problem is the most important thing for any product build, right?
Correct.
How do we make sure that these AI agents and AI tools that we are using, giving us the right information and helping us do the right competitive analysis, so that, because right now everyone can build. And everyone is building already, right? And it's very, very good to see that even the non-technical people are using these agents and then they are building it.
Right.
But we have to really focus on solving the problem. So how do we make sure that we do the problem discovery right, using the AI agents and these AI tools to build the right thing?
Right. So as you said, absolutely, your entire problem discovery and your design has gone in a insane kind of a velocity. Right? But few things which I do is that, see, whenever we talk about problem discovery, it has multiple phases. We first of all start with an outside-in perspective, which is your market research, which again is a lot of secondary research. So typically, for example, I work with a lot of startups which are kind of trying to build their MVP, right? So I always start that, let me do my homework. Exactly as you said, I use Perplexity a lot, right? To do and I especially use their deep research. Okay, what I do is that I ask them to give me all the links. I ask them to create some synopsis for me, so that, and then I kind of go through that competitive analysis. One of the things which I do is that the output which I get from Perplexity, I give it to ChatGPT.
Oh, same. I do the same thing, just to make sure that we cross-verify things, right?
Say that Can you verify all the details? Can you augment it better?
Yeah.
Right? So when I do that, I get that. The second thing which I do is that once I get all these things, I throw it into my notebook LM.
Always.
Okay? With my notebook LM, I'll say, okay, give me key insights from this in the form of mind maps.
Nice.
Okay?
That gives a clear picture of what we want to do.
Absolutely. Now, then what I do is that based on these things, I try figuring out, okay, where are the market opportunities?
Same.
Right? Where are people building, not building? I kind of try to build a heat map kind of thing.
I see.
Right? Once I have done that, the next thing is that, see, I don't want to do only secondary research.
Right.
So with that organization with whom I'm working, whenever it is possible for me to get some first-hand primary information, it could be talking to their existing customers or the target segment where we are kind of looking at, then I try to do a little bit of qualitative and quantitative research with that group sense, right? So when I'm having so much of data, that really helps me to kind of build up on what could be the market opportunity.
That's true.
How should we synthesize this?
Yeah.
Where should we build something? And the other thing which I have definitely used is that, interestingly, I'll talk about another thing, right? Right now, I'm working with one of a stealth mode startup.
I see.
And we don't have any developers.
Really?
Yeah.
All AI agents?
I have 3 product interns.
Oh, nice.
And we are basically doing complete vibe coding.
Okay.
They are using AI agents
Nice.
in order to do their design,
I think, yeah.
discovery,
Awesome.
in terms of building their first MVP.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's very good because ultimately we build something with the MVP prototype, right?
Right.
And PMs are good in prototyping,
Exactly.
right? With the AI agents. I've been doing that for almost 2 years now.
Correct.
Anything that we do after problem discovery, I just put it into Lovable.
Correct.
Try and see how. So Lovable, they've already recently introduced the agents.
Right.
Previously, you had to input everything and
Correct.
then it makes a lot of mistakes.
Correct.
So they introduced the concept of agent into this Lovable things.
Correct.
Then it takes to divide that into different tasks, give it to a different agent, and then combine that together. Then gives you an output, right? So I used to do that, and then when I give it to a designer, I used to ask him, how can you make sure that we can make it more simpler?
Right.
Because ultimately,
Correct.
the output that we get from AI agents not require that.
It's
It may be
not-
like very generic.
Correct.
So yeah, I think that's very important because right now I've seen this also that there is a lot of generic things that everyone is building with this Lovables and all the Replit and others, right? So how can we make sure this genericness that we see in these websites and products, how can we avoid those things by using the agents?
Right.
Is there any way we can use prompts or techniques to make sure that the product that we are building is unique, not something that everyone is building?
So I'll tell you, right, so when we started exactly doing like that, right, we were brainstorming, we were using Emergent, we were using Lovable kind of tools. So see, very, very important, I would say prompt engineering is your new way of coding.
Right.
Right? The more specific you get, what kind of a background, what kind of a logo. So one thing which I have seen working is give you what we call as something called as few shot prompting.
Right.
If you give examples, if you
Right.
give references, if you give logos,
It's much
then
better.
it is able to build very close to what you're looking at.
That's true. That's true.
Right? So if I can take another example, we basically created these prototypes using Lovable.
Yes.
And as you said, it was very generic. There was nothing, I mean, functionality.
Everything is common.
Everything is common, right? But it gave us an idea what kind of features we can build and all that. So what we did, we kind of took it. We worked with our designer to say, this is how we want to make it more simpler. We want to make it more master detailed kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So we worked together, and then we were using Miro AI.
Oh, nice.
So doing high fidelity prototyping.
Okay.
Once we did that, we gave these artifacts to Emergent
I see.
with all the references, with all our logos and stuff like that. And guess what? In the next 1 hour, because that also uses highly agentic framework, right? We had a complete working deployable website
Wow.
product.
So what I understand is you basically have to use the different tools
Correct.
to make sure you get the right outcome and output that you're expecting. You can't expect everything from a one tool.
That is definitely not happening because every tool has their own limitations.
That's true.
But at the same time, I really want to kind of re-emphasize on the fact that I was saying earlier that please do not delegate your thinking.
That's true.
What your customer needs. What are those 5-6 data points that you need to give to your customer in that screen
That's true.
to make that decision? Be very cognitive of that.
That's true.
Right? It is always easy to get carried away with these fancy UI, UX and
definitely.
all that. But you need to be very clear that you are not doing cognitive overload for your customer.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I think that is something as a product manager and a builder, we have to make sure because
Completely.
AI can give you a lot of things or looking at the dashboard or a lot of information, but it's not required that a lot of information are good, right?
Exactly.
We have to make sure that we are providing as minimal information to the customer, so that that cognitive load that you are mentioning should be low on the customer's mind, right?
So that they are able to go ahead with their decision making, right? Which will help. So we need to be very mindful, and that is where, just if I can connect the dots, right? Talking to your customers, deeply understanding the problem statement. Once only you have done that, all will start to emerge in your design and in your execution.
That's true. I think one of the examples that I can also provide, that I think what you suggested, you took this data from Perplexity. I also do the same thing, put it into ChatGPT, try and see how it can give me the exact thing that I want. Then I also do some kind of predict, what is the good thing, what is the bad thing, and I suggest these are bad things, and I take that put it into Gemini.
Correct.
So all these tools, even though people say that it can do everything for you, but the output that I'm expecting, I'm not getting that from it. So connecting these different tools, I can think of it as a different agents.
Correct.
Right? Maybe we can do N10 workflow and connect these things together. You put this data here, then put it into Perplexity, and then connect it and get the output, right? Put it into a Lovable. The other thing that you mentioned, giving some examples and references. So I think I used Lovable, and I was building some website for the GPU thing, because we are building a product on GPU, and I was curious to learn more about the GPUs. So what I did, I took some screenshots of the website, and I just give him an example. I don't specify which color and other things, and I completely took that as a reference and built the website in just, I would say, 3 minutes. Right? So it's something, agents are becoming powerful, but I think one of the things that we don't understand is how do we make better use of it, right? So do you have any recommendation on how can we make sure that these agents can help us maximize our output?
So I think the first thing is you need to try it.
Yeah.
Right? These days, one thing I think also is that people are bombarded. We all are in the phase of over-information. Right? On a daily basis, I see 10 LinkedIn posts recommending, saying that do this. 10 posts, people will save it and they will never go back to it.
Never go back.
Right? So the first thing I would say is that identify what is your need. Identify what is the problem that you have to solve. Don't look for 10 different agents or 10 different tools. Pick up any one or two tools, maybe hopefully recommended by somebody in your circle, in your industry group, whatever it is.
That's true.
Go into it, explore it, and try using it. See, the other thing is that all of these also come with a cycle of exploration and then optimization. Right? So the way I try to do is that I don't go and pick up a tool when nobody has recommended it.
I see.
So the first thing for me is that have you used it? What kind of use cases have you used it? What has worked for you? What have not worked for you? So before I use any tool, that is the first groundwork that I do.
That's true.
The second thing is that in my own mind, I want to be very clear, what am I looking to achieve with this particular tool? Unless I have time and I'm kind of exploring 3 different tools, that's a different thing. But because we all are short on our time right now.
Yeah, that is something a big problem.
Exactly. And that's what we are looking to solve with these tools, right? So kind of giving a scope of what you're looking to solve for that problem, I think that's a great way out.
Yeah.
The other thing I would highly recommend, Shamsher, is I use something like meta prompt, right? So
tell me something about it. I think I heard this for the first time.
Yeah. So see, basically the good part is that one of the things which is getting standardized is that conversation is becoming the new way of interacting with products. Right? I remember Satya Nadella at one point of time said products will have no UI UX.
No UI, yes, that's true.
Right?
Just
so conversation is becoming the common thing. And one key element of these conversations is your prompt. English language. Everybody understands that. Since that is becoming more like a norm now, I basically use a ChatGPT or a Gemini to generate these prompts.
I see.
Okay.
Oh, the prompt generation also happens?
Through this. Okay. That's what we are calling as meta prompting. When I give, let's say, a 2-liner, it gives me a prompt. Oh. Then it will ask me what really want to do. Who is your customer segment? Nice. What do you plan to achieve? Right? Once I give this input, it gives me a better prompt.
Right.
So I use this prompt in order to give it to the tool so that the likelihood that in the very first instances itself, I get closer to what I'm looking for.
That's true. Yeah, I think this is also very important because ultimately agents also needs to understand problem really well.
Correct.
Right? But they won't be able to understand in just a 1 or 2 line. So I think this is a good technique. I think definitely I'll go and try it out, which will make it more efficient. So I think the other problem that I'm saying is everyone says that AI makes you faster, right? But it does not necessarily that it will make you faster in the right direction, right? So how do you make sure that you are doing the right thing in the right direction, because that is also very important, right? Everyone is building, whether they are building it right or whether they are building it in the right direction. How do you guide people right?
Right. So there are two things, right? Are you building the right thing or are you building it right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Right. So I think we spoke a lot about are you building the right thing, which is through your problem discovery, spending time with your users, doing the right set of things during your design and discovery. See, in the entire product development phase, your execution part, which is basically the development part,
Right.
with all these code generating LLMs, has become definitely fast.
Yes.
That is one part. The second part is with usage of AI tools. Again, we are seeing a lot of improvement in the velocity in certain parts.
Right.
But exactly as we kind of spoke about in the last of your questions, you need to be very, very clear what are you looking to achieve from this, right? The other aspect is that please understand all these tools are going to be storing data somewhere in the cloud.
Right.
So you need to be extremely careful that do you have an enterprise version? What kind of data you are giving? Are you allowed to give that kind of PII information? Right? So as a product manager, while it is great that you can get access to such tools, but applying that constant security lens to say that what information can I really share?
Right.
That is one.
That is the key.
The second aspect is that, for example, if I may talk about like voice agents.
Yes.
Right? We all are bombarded. Right? Telecallers, sales call, all the time we are getting. And what I hear, many of us already recognize it, and I don't know if you know, but the average call durations for an AI call is less than 3 seconds.
3 seconds. That's
because the minute I realize it's an AI call, I just
they drop.
Exactly. Right? So they come with their own problems, and because people want to talk to humans.
It should feel natural. It should feel like we are talking to humans.
Exactly.
But I think there are a lot of good companies who are doing these things, but we are still not at that level where humans can feel that I'm talking to human.
Correct.
And a lot of improvements are needed there.
Absolutely. And as a product manager, you need to be mindful that while I might be accelerating, I need to, for example, if it is just a reminder for somebody to pay their insurance premium, might be okay to just have a voice agent.
Yeah.
But if, let's say, if I'm having a high value customers with whom I have to interact, I need to have a human in the loop.
That's true.
Right? So while you might be achieving things faster, I think the constructs of a product manager should be focused on such things.
That's good.
Data privacy. Where should I, what should be the, for example, evals?
Yeah.
How should I measure? Am I tracking the right metrics? Is my model not giving wrong information? If I'm taking data, am I taking the concern? So things should be now, while you are moving fast, you need to make sure that you are not, losing sight of such things which are very, very critical from your product, from your brand, from your customer trust perspective.
Makes sense.
Right? So that is where the hat that a product manager needs to put on to talk about trust, governance, security.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
So those would be the areas where I would say while you are making fast, make sure that you're not dropping your balls or sticks.
Yeah, makes sense. Definitely. I think we are on time. I think we had a good discussion about agents and human collaboration. I hope audience will get something good out of it, and they will definitely follow these things when they are building with agents, they are building with Lovable and other products. We have launched 3 products today, which is mostly focused on AI/ML engineers. We have a GPU as a service inferencing that people can use to build agents, multi-agent system.
Oh wow!
We're offering it in affordable prices, which is what India needs today. We have a lot of startups in India who are building this application, building agents. So I think they will get a lot of value out of this. Thank you so much for your time. Anything that you want to conclude with your sentence? I think you had mentioned delegate thing. I really like that. So can you just conclude that for the audience so that they can remember these things at the end?
Sure.
Yeah.
See, I think we all have to get used to the idea that agents are a reality. It's not a future. As we are talking, it's happening now.
Yeah.
So while you are going to be surrounded by agents in different formats and different ways, make sure that you are not transferring your work to them, but you are orchestrating, you are delegating your work to them. And that to be very mindfully, keeping the risk in mind, keeping the what is the cost of doing things wrong.
Yes.
Right? So I would say the future that I see for human beings, for product managers, is to be more in a orchestrator, more as a delegator.
That's true. Awesome. Thank you so much, Malthi.
Thank you. Pleasure is all mine. Thank you.
Thank you.